the digestive system.
Really? Oh, okay, thank you. Let me hear from Vanessa.
We learned about the use of for and since.
The use of for and since. That is what we looked at. What exactly did we say about for, and what exactly did we say about since?
We say that for is a preposition used to talk about an amount of time or space. And since is used to refer to a particular point in time or event in the past.
Okay, that is true. However, you have not told us something more particular about since, about for rather.
The amount of time used in since is usually not exact or clearly stated.
Very true. We talk about unclearly stated amounts of time. If someone says, I'll come maybe tomorrow, tomorrow is undefined. But you know, when we talk about such things that do not have a defined perimeter, I've been around for a long time. Now that for a long time is not defined. And yet, since we only use it to refer to things in the past, because we talk about exact time. I have been here since Monday. So Monday is a defined time. Thank you so much. And today, since we have a lot of work, we can straight away go ahead and look at the topic of today. Today, we want to look at the adjectives. As we conclude this chapter, we are now looking at parts of speech. They're integrated within this. In senior one, in the old syllabus, the first topics you start with are usually what we call the parts of speech. After parts of speech, you would go to tenses. However, for now, we are going to have parts of speech integrated within our passages or within our learning under a topic. This is the new curriculum, and we all know that it is different from the old one. So that's why today we want to straight away go ahead and look at the use of adjectives. They will be embedded somewhere, as we shall see. Maybe before I go to anything, who can remind me what they learned about? Because in primary, you're taught about all these things. Who can give me at least a glimpse of what an adjective is and what role do they play? So that's what I want us to be able to look at today. Okay, Prudy, what's an adjective?
An adjective is a word used to describe a noun.
A word used to describe a noun? Okay.
They show shape, size, color, taste, smell, and material.
Okay. They show taste, size, material. Okay,
color,
size, color,
taste, and smell.
Okay, thank you so much. Let us hear from another student. Lillian, what do you remember about adjectives?
An adjective is a word that is used to describe a noun.
It is a word that is used to describe a noun.
A noun. Yes.
When do we use it?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, most of us are very good at mastering what the teacher said. However, the good thing about the new syllabus, we are going to practically use these words. Now, that's the difference between the old syllabus and the new syllabus. It is a very practical syllabus, so we are going to enjoy this very one. Let me see, Diana Faye. Diana Faye?
Yes, teacher. The meaning of adjectives, right?
Yes, and the application.
Okay. Adjectives are describing words. In other words, they are words that are used to describe a person or a thing. So its application is used for are used in sentences
Okay, thank you.
that
Now-
are used to describe how. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Now, all of us have a common definition of what adjectives are, and I agree with you. I 100%. However, sometimes in the place, okay, Singoma might complain. Singoma,
Yes, teacher.
Johan has been up. You might complain. Say the last thing, and I go ahead and explain.
Yeah, I would say that used to talk more about then it is applied in front of a noun.
It is applied in front of a noun. In front or behind? Generally, the position we shall see, we can be able to put it somewhere. Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Ngoma. The rest, we shall agree, all of us as a class, that what people have given is the common answer. That is, these are words that are used to describe a noun. But never forget that in a place of a noun is a pronoun. So never ignore that fact as well, that they either describe a noun or a pronoun. When we talk about description, what is the meaning? Opio, when we talk about describing, what do we mean? Opio, what is to describe?
It means just like explaining how it is.
Explaining what it is.
Yeah, teacher.
Yes.
I need to add something on adjectives.
Okay, very fast.
They are written before the nouns.
They are written before a noun. Thank you so much. I still want someone to give me the what when they say they describe nouns, what do you mean? Amaya?
When they say describe a noun, they kind of mean like you talk about it. Talk about it or its features.
You've added us a new word, the one of features. If they told me to describe Priska, or if they told me to describe Opio, Opio is a noun. What are those outstanding features of Opio? And that's why we said in forms of color, size, material, all those things we are going to consider. So when they tell you to describe, or when they tell you that adjective describes a noun, it means an adjective tells us the color of a noun, the size of a noun, the origin, the material, all those things about a noun are mentioned. So that's what I wanted us to remember today in this passage, or rather in this lesson, the use of adjectives, or what an adjective is and what it does. So also, we get to know that when we are writing our stories, how many of you have read a novel? At least one novel. You can tell me the novel, the title of the novel, the main character, and then you give me the description of that character. Let me see here. Velma. Which novel and what was the main character?
The novel I read was Back in Time, whereby a boy named Jack has to go back in time to save his girlfriend from a sudden death.
Okay, now when they describe Jack, what do they tell us about Jack?
Jack is a tall, brown, handsome boy.
Now, those words, the words you have used, being tall, being handsome, being, what was the skin color?
Brown.
Brown. Now, all those are different words that, so you can already picture Tom in your head.
Yes.
You can be able to, and that's why most times we fall in love with certain novels. it is not about the novel, but it's about the characters. We can easily relate with those people. Sometimes they describe someone and they almost behave like us, either the way they conduct themselves or the way they react to situations. So those words are called adjectives, those words that help you to know and master a character so that you feel like you know that person. Those words are called adjectives. It means adjectives are also used in stories to make them beautiful. There are people who write to you a letter and describe what they have gone through, and you can be able to see it. You can be able to cry. You can be able to get excited if the letter is a happy one. So that's what we are saying, that they can also be used in passage writing or writing essays or stories to make them more clear. They are able to describe situations and give us a picture. If it was a meal, they tell us that it was a sumptuous meal, and you can already start testing that meal. Those words are called adjectives. So today we want to see how are they applied, but most importantly, we shall do this in groups. I will be able to divide you into groups and we discover what we have. But before we break off to the groups, we shall use different, we shall read the passage together as a class. Then we come up, then I break you into different groups where you will be able to create your own adjectives and pick those from the passage as I shall instruct you later on. So welcome to today's lesson. For those who have just joined, we are looking at adjectives. We started by defining what an adjective is, and then we went to how they are used. So for those who have just come in, you're most welcome to this lesson. Okay. People's hands are up. Oh, you want to read? I. Ian.
Excuse me, sir.
You're excused.
Do we have brown people or light-skinned people?
About color, I'm not going to be particular. The only thing I know is that we don't have black people, we have dark people. So yes, we have people of color. People of color can either be brown or, what was the other alternative you had?
They said that people are not brown, they are light-skinned.
Light and brown are all colors. I have no problem. The only exception I know is on black. People are not black, they are dark.
Dark-skinned.
Yeah, yes, you don't say that the man is black, you say the man is dark-skinned.
But I think same applies to brown, light-skinned.
We shall verify and I shall get back to you. I'm not particular about that one. All I know is that is for the one for dark and brown. I mean dark and black.
Okay, sir.
Because most times when the whites call Africans the coloreds, you find that there's variation even among the coloreds. You find that those who are brown, and then there are those who are close to white, but they're not white. So you find that the Mexicans are also called the coloreds. So you find the variation in colors. I'm not so particular, but I will look out for the difference. Okay, so I try to give my definition here, and most of you scored it right. So I have nothing much. That there was used to describe a noun in terms of size, shape, taste, smell, all those. We can as well use them to make our stories interesting and clear. That's what I last explained here. That is the purpose of these adjectives. So it means don't write a story without an adjective. A story without an adjective is boring. It is plain and tasteless. So you must give your story a test. And the only way you can do that is through the use of adjectives. So I'm going to show you this example here. So this will be our activity. You can write this question down. This is going to be our activity as a group, but we are going to read the story as a group. And then we divide them into smaller groups so that you can make your discussions more interesting, and self-discovery is the purpose. We're always able to pick out the adjectives ourselves, pick out the nouns these adjectives are describing, and then later on we shall form our own sentences. So write this question down. Then whichever group you will be taken to, you start discussing with them there. Okay. So the passage is here. Can I have someone to read for us? I cannot pick this person called Haggard Male until you change your name to something sensible. I don't think that is what your parents named you, Haggard Male. Change your name to something normal and I'll pick you. So let me pick normal people. Chigongo.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Shall let me start to read?
Please.
Read the passage below and identify the adjectives used. A visit to grandmother. My grandmother is a hardworking woman. She lives in the village far in the remote areas of Rakai. But her home is one that I look forward to visiting during my holidays. Grandmother has an art of cooking, which makes you look forward to all her meals. As soon as you get there, she orders for fresh fish for lunch. She does not fry it, but it always tastes so fresh. When she prepares rice, she adds onions and ghee, causing an aroma that is so tempting that we can't wait for mealtime. Her pancakes are done so well and they are always sweet with little cooking oil used. The meat is first greased and then steamed in banana leaves, and it is always tender and delicious. At tea time, she uses milk from her small farm, and maybe because she only rears local cows, the tea is so appetizing that I feel like chewing the cup itself. Kutesache Mariam.
It's okay not to know how to read that name. Even me, I don't know. Okay, that is the first reading. We're going to have another reading. But while we read, be inclined to note whenever you feel like that's an adjective, you write it down. Don't just wait to discuss only in the group, but write out, then you share with your group members. If you have the same, then those are the ones that you will present. So for now, I expect us as a class or individually to be picking the adjectives ourselves. So we're going to have a second reading. I would prefer that the second reading is taken by a male student, at least. A male student would help. Let me see. Where are the boys in this class? Ian.
A visit to grandmother. My grandmother is a hardworking woman. She lives in the village far in the remote area of Rakai. But her home is one of that I look forward to visiting during my holidays. Grandmother has an art of cooking which makes you look forward to all her meals. As soon as you get there, she orders for fresh fish for lunch. She does not fry, but it always tastes so fresh. When she prepares rice, she adds onions and ghee, causing an aroma that is so tempting that you cannot wait for meal time. Her pancakes are done so well and they are always sweet with little cooking oil used. The meat is first grilled and then steamed in banana leaves, and it is always tender and delicious. At tea time, she uses milk from her small farm, and maybe because she only rears local cows, The tea is so appetizing that I feel like chewing the cup itself. Professor Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. That was our second reading. So we are going to identify different adjectives that have been used in this passage. In our small groups, we are going to identify them. So I'm going to ask Mr. To to make me a host, or Mr. To, you can help me to break the groups into different smaller groups, and then we can start our session. Mr. To? Mr. To, can you hear me? So that's what we are going to be doing in our small groups. Pick those different adjectives, and then you'll be able to.
Yeah, Teacher Lurry, which account
Yes.
should I use? Which one should I make you the host?
The one which is active, the one I'm using currently, the one with vibration.
Oh yeah. So afterward, you make me a co-host, yeah?
Definitely. Okay, so as Mr. Toy is doing that, I'm also going to show you a list of other words that we shall use. This, I assume this was my grandmother. So just an illustration of, for those who might not have seen their grandmothers, they're really old people and they're interesting to be with. So I also have the next activity. So write these ones down. Find suitable adjectives to describe the following foods. The first one is cake. Second is juice, rice, meat. So you will do this once in your group, then you come and present. I want different adjectives now that can help you describe these things. Cake, juice, rice, meat. I hope you've written that down. And then the other list is here. Samosas, mangoes, grasshoppers, milk, maize. So you'll give me different words, at least different adjectives that can describe these foods. Remember, we have been dealing with foods, so that's what I will expect us to be doing. So write those words down. I will give you about 15 minutes to do that, and then we resume with our class. Okay, if there are any questions before I break away, this is the right time for us to ask. Shadik? Shadik? Okay. Opio, your hand is up. Hannah, are there people with questions?
Examples.
It's okay. I'm going to display them and then we get that. Let me be displaying them. I hope you've written those ones that I have displayed. I hope you've written these ones. If you have written them, then I can be able to. The other examples are there. So you write them down as I divide you into different groups. You will discuss them as a group. Those who are already sharing their descriptive words, we shall describe them as a group. Okay. I think I'll first stop sharing. That's when I can have breakaway rooms. assign automatically. We're going to have just 5 groups, okay? Oh, let me first make Mr. To. Mr. To, could you put up your hand so that I don't lose you? Mr. To. Oh, To is all right, thank you. Make co-host. So in the groups we are going to be taken to, there we go. Fifteen minutes, okay. Okay, so in group 1, okay, we're still creating the rooms, just a minute. Okay, for those who are already in different groups, I'll be picking group leaders. For example, room 1, Bruno. Bruno, you're the group leader in 1. Group 2, Achulo is the group leader. In group 3, Abigail is the group leader. Group 4, Adikini is the group leader. And group 5, Abonyo Masi is the group leader. And finally, hey, those were the 5 groups. So we can start our discussions. Okay, let us wait for everyone to join so that we can resume with our discussion. Okay, I guess everyone is here now and we can resume. Different groups will present and we shall definitely hear from them. We shall begin with the passage. After you tell us what was in the passage, we can get down. All right. Group one, anyone near there who can present for us group one? I remember picking different members in different groups. Abigail, Johan is down, Anita had picked you. Mare. Mare, you may come in. Yes, Mare. Mare, come in.
Teacher.
Yes.
I answer what was in the passage.
Well, so let's begin with which group were you in first of all?
I was in group 3.
Group 3. Share with us which adjectives you picked from the passage.
Okay.
You tell us the noun and the adjectives you used under it. Yes. Mare has run away. I think it's his network. Let me have Eula. Yes, Eula. Yes, Eula. Mr. To, could you make my other device a co-host as well? The one I'm using on the PC. Make it a co-host so that I can be able to coordinate properly. Mr. To? Thank you. Hannah, you tell us your group.
Group 4.
Group 4, give us the adjectives.
Fish was aroma. Aroma. Delicious. Appetizing. Number 2. Find suitable adjectives to describe a noun.
You mean that was all for the passage?
Yes. Maybe some of my members can help me.
Okay, let us first finish the passage because I've
Okay.
realized some of you are not working as groups. You are working as individuals. Thank you, Hannah, for sharing. Let me pick another person. Amaya, I think I remember picking you in a group.
Okay. Teacher, I was in group 1.
Give us the adjectives.
We got hardworking.
Hardworking was describing who?
The woman.
The
Teacher,
old woman, yes.
I request you to please first put the passage on the screen because I had not got it. My screenshot seems the whole.
It's here.
Okay. We had hardworking, representing the grandmother. Then we had remote for the village. We had far. We had appetizing for the fish, I think. And we had fresh for the fish as well. We had sweet. I think sweet is on the other part of the passage, which is not this one. And we have, she had rice on it, and we had also tempting for the rice, and we had tender and delicious for the meat. We had far for the village. I think that's all. That's all for the passage.
Okay, thank you so much. You have exhausted the passage. Thank you for sharing. Now for the other words, another group member can come in and give us. Let me pick. There is Daphne, Victor, Claire, Roland, a whole clan here. You can give us the different words. Different people can speak. Yes. Okay, it seems they are currently unavailable. Vanessa?
Yes.
You tell us the group and then you go to the second part. The different words, we had different nouns here. You tell us the different adjectives that could help describe these things. For example, the cake, juice.
Yes.
Mr. To, please enable the chat. Most messages are coming direct to me. Please enable the chat. Okay, it's okay. You can, people, we can use the chat. I've enabled all of us to share, not direct to me, but for everyone to see. But be sensible. Don't text funny things. Some of you, the reason we block you is because you send all sorts of messages, and yet it is good for us to interact. Okay, so I've enabled. So let me hear someone take us through.
Yes.
Vanessa?
Room 2.
Yes.
Cake.
Cake.
The cake is sweet. Juice. This juice is light and delight. Rice. This rice is dry. Meat. That meat is chewy. Samosa. These samosas are crispy. Mango. This mango is moist, spicy. Grasshoppers. These grasshoppers are crunchy. Milk. This milk is creamy. Maize. The maize is yummy. Lemons. These lemons are bitter.
Okay, thank you so much. You could now vary. If she has already said lemons are bitter, someone can try to use another word that can help us to describe. If she has already said the cake is sweet or the cake is this, be able to vary. Tell us a different description or give us another adjective apart from the ones that she has used, because we want to learn as many adjectives as we can so that we can be able to improve our grammar and we can be able to express ourselves. So thank you, Vanessa. I'm going to go to the next person, Diana. But where are the boys? Opio, where are you? Where is Opio? Isaiah Opio is here. You're quiet, Janet, Bruno. Well, if I didn't know, this must be. But some of you really have names that I doubt. Aruho, Retina, Daphne. Where are the boys in this class? Am I teaching a girls' school only? Opio, how Opio is here? Opio. Yes, Opio? Let me take Ian.
In our passage, we found out that question number 1 was, as a group, read the passage and identify the different adjectives. Roman 1, fish. We found out an adjective of aroma, appetizing, and fresh. Then about grandmother. Grandmother is hardworking, remote, far.
But
Rice.
they said remote, they said she stays in a remote far village in Rakai. So does remote still describe her?
Yes, it describes her, describing where she lives.
Okay.
Remote. Meat, tender and delicious. Activity 2. Find suitable adjectives to describe the following food. Cake. It is delicious, sweet and tasty. Juice. Sweet. Rice. Tasty. Samosa. It is in a triangular shape. Sweet. Mango. It's sweet. Milk. It is creamy and sweet. Maize. It's sweet. Lemons. It's green in color and bitter. That's all.
Now, thank you. However, Ian has almost used the same words. And yet we want you to vary. For example, if you've already used the adjective sweet, endeavor to get for others. So maybe let me take one person, Retina.
I'm going to begin with the passage.
Okay.
Yes.
Which group?
I'm in group 2.
Okay, the group 2 had already presented.
Okay.
Yes, you could share very fast. The last bit.
Okay. Hardworking is to describe the grandmother. Remote is to describe the place where she lives. Far is to describe it's like how far you are describing the place. Is it near? Is it far? Yes. So to describe the fish, it is fresh. It is tender. There's also aroma, sweet, delicious, appetizing, tempting. And the second activity, cake. I have sweet or sugary, juice, sweet, rice, delicious, meat, salty, tender or fresh, samosa, crispy, mango, juicy, grasshopper, crunchy, milk, tasty or creamy, maize, sweet or yummy, lemons, bitter or sour.
Okay, thank you. Now, what most of you have given me are the most obvious. That is what is expected of a good mango, good food, good fish. However, sometimes some of these things are not in their right state. Like when someone said the rice is dry. Some people do not cook rice and they are dry. So there are different ways. Or someone can ask you to go when they have just put water into the rice, or when they have just put rice into the saucepan, and they go and ask you to describe the state the rice is in. So if you told the person the rice is dry, the person will tell you to put it down and yet there is still water. So let's also not cram fixed adjectives. We describe things according to the current state they are in. For example, always the skies are never clear. Sometimes it's cloudy, another time it's windy. So those are different words. So always also learn to vary. There are times where we have very stale taste of things. Sometimes you can have a cake which is not actually sweet. So there are different things you can be able to vary. So also I want to tell you that the way you have used those different adjectives, I can be able to, when someone tells me that the samosa is crunchy or the crisps are crunchy, I can be able already to hear the sound in my ear as someone is chewing. So if you are writing them in a passage, it will be easy for me to know the exact state of the item or the noun or pronoun you are describing. So that is the application. That is how we use adjectives. I have given some work in our Google Classroom about verbs. So please go and attempt that work and we can be able to work together. Then next week, I'm going to give you an activity of integration. Every after a chapter, we are supposed to look at activities of integration. So I will be able to at least create some work. Either I put it as an assignment or I will bring it here and we do during the time of our lesson. So let us all be available. Thank you so much for attending this lesson. We already passed by some minutes, but I still want to thank all the groups that are participating. This is the only way to go. Otherwise, God bless you. Have a beautiful morning. Mr. To?
Thanks for the lesson, Teacher Lurry.